So for a long time I said, well, I'll learn how to solve an FTO as soon as they make a decent one. And for years and years, all they had was the LanLan, maybe the Maru. I stocked the LanLan for a bit, and, well, it's not great. And I'm very pleased that there is finally a decent FTO, the DianSheng magnetic FTO. It's far from perfect. Some people have said it has a popping issue. I haven't had a single pop on it, but then again, I haven't been trying to turn ridiculously fast on it or anything. But yeah, I finally, after a long time, got round to actually learning to solve it, because I feel like it would be a bit silly to make an unboxing video of a puzzle I can't solve, and I know I can't solve. I mean, sometimes I might make a unboxing video of a puzzle and then realise, oh, I can't solve this, but if I knew that I couldn't solve it, that would be a bit silly, wouldn't it? But I can solve an FTO now, and this is a great puzzle. It's been a lot more fun than I thought, solving FTO. It's once I could finally understood enough, because I had a lot of issues trying to get my head around various things in FTO solving. It's quite a weird puzzle to solve, let's put it that way. There's a lot of crossover between like Yao on 4x4, which I don't actually even do on 4x4, like skewb stuff, although I kind of managed to avoid a lot of the sledging and hedging and all that stuff in the way I finally managed to learn to solve it. But yeah, I'm just going to do one timed solve on here, and then I can like explain a bit of my method. And obviously I'm not claiming it's anything special, but right, 216.094, that's not great, I've got much faster in the past, but regardless, I can solve an FTO. And I guess it's probably best to get into my lightbox and do some other stuff that's more suited for that. So the FTO is a very different puzzle to most things. It has 8 faces with triangles basically, so that means that scrambling it is a bit different, of course. R, L, U, D, F, B. Oh, what about these two axes? BL and BR. Interesting, okay. What you'll notice is there's only 4 different colours on each side at any one time, which is quite confusing to think about, but it is true that you can only have 4 different colours on each side, I believe. I'm not entirely sure about that. It does look like it is the case. Right, so how am I going to solve it? Well, my method is a bit different. I'm going to first, just solve a side like most people do, and try and make sure that's correct. This is always a difficult thing, getting that right and making sure it is the correct colour scheme, because otherwise it does cause a few more problems than getting 4x4 colour scheme wrong later on. I mean, it's not too difficult to fix, but it's just nice to get it right first time. So I then solved that piece like that by pairing up triplets, and then the same thing with this. That is paired up, and then that is paired up, and then that is inserted in there. If it needs to go in the other way, then you can do that on the other side. Right, so now it's just a case of solving one side, and this is kind of like Yao, because this is like the cross edge that hasn't been solved. I don't do Yao for 4x4, so it's a bit weird for me to do stuff like this, but obviously like I can do it, and I do understand how Yao works for 4x4, I just don't like doing it. Okay, so yellow goes here, and oh no, white does go there. Right, so insert that bit there, and then that bit there. So I mean, it's just kind of a bit of getting used to. It's a bit like edge pairing and stuff and center building on big cubes. It's just slightly different because it only turns 3 ways, so you can't do everything the same. Okay, so now I'm going to do a bit of flipping to try and get this triplet paired up. Right, so that's white paired up. So this is just the flipping. Well, it's just a sledge basically, because what doing a sledge does is it stops these getting messed up. Obviously there are other ways of pairing stuff up, but if you can mess these up, then you're in trouble. Right, so now I'm just going to do a sledge, which is going to solve this entire layer, and then I'm going to do variations of a certain algorithm on 3x3, which is an OLL algorithm, which goes R, U, R prime, U prime, M prime, U, R, U, wide R prime, and the inverse and the left version of that. And that allows me to swap these two with the left version of that algorithm. Then that allows me to swap these two with the inverse of that algorithm. And then the same thing here with these two with the inverse of that algorithm. So that is how I solve an FTO. Obviously this is not a full tutorial, I'm sure there are way more in-depth tutorials out there, but that's how I've figured out, somewhat learned from tutorials, but also somewhat figured out myself because I didn't understand some of the triplet forming stuff in the last layer and just found out how to completely avoid it. So yeah, this is a fun puzzle to solve, and I wonder if it will be a WCA event at some point. Obviously we just have to wait and see with stuff like that. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, share and subscribe.